If you don't like the political wranglings of the America's Cup, you might want to look away now, because recent events suggest that it's going to get quite fruity. After a string of announcements over recent weeks, the differences between some of the challengers and the defender have started to spill over, and this could get quite ugly. Several of the challengers seem pretty upset, and now the defenders, represented by Emirates Team New Zealand, have pushed back. So statements, counter-statements, leaks, rumours and speculation. It's the start of a good old-fashioned cup spat. But I think there could be more to it than this, and here's why. It is a fact that the America's Cup often starts well before the boats meet on the racecourse. Like it or not, the cup is an arm wrestle from the minute the challenge is made. Getting the upper hand means doing all you can to shape the rules, and this time around the process started with something else. A new collaborative agreement between the challengers and the defender to, as the Kiwis put it, strengthen the future of the America's Cup for the benefit of the event and all future teams. We now know that the agreement is called the America's Cup Partnership and detailed in the draft protocol. That all sounded good. But then there was a statement posted on social media that the Swiss team, Alinghi Red Bull Racing, had decided to, in its words, begin to properly disband the Alinghi Red Bull Racing team. They said they wanted to work together with the defender, but were unable to reach an agreement with the Kiwis about the future of the event. Grant Dalton didn't seem to agree and went on local TV to say that his intel was that Alinghi was still hiring staff. So who was bluffing who? Then came chatter of a British-Swiss alliance. That seemed pretty weird too. And then the announcement of the venue, Naples in Italy. All seemed good again. But now we know that the British, represented by Ben Ainsley's Athena Racing, were pretty hacked off. In a statement they said they were concerned by the ongoing lack of transparency around the recent announcement of a host city for the Cup in 2027. They said a venue was usually announced after the protocol had been agreed and published, not before, and said that there were financial and organisational obligations as well as potential liabilities, making its disclosure fundamental to teams' participation and commitment to the 38th America's Cup. They also said that they believe that transparency and cooperation between the defender and all challengers is vital for the Cup's future, and therefore the recent announcement from the defender are premature at best. A few hours later, there was a statement from New York Yacht Club American Magic, which seemed just as upset. Their statement said, "We find ourselves at a crossroads," and that the defender has been unwilling to commit to the transparency and cooperation necessary to secure a fair protocol. Before then going on to say, "We continue to support the Challenger of Record in their effort to secure an open and balanced protocol, as without the meaningful changes that they're advocating, it's difficult to see how New York Yacht Club American Magic can participate in the 38th America's Cup." So in just a few weeks, 3 big teams expressing concern, 2 of them threatening to walk away. Interestingly, there's been no comments so far from the Italians nor the French, both of whom had said that they're up for the Cup. Meanwhile, the 2 statements triggered a response from the Kiwis, who disputed the lack of transparency, pointing to months of negotiation with the various challengers. They said, "The latest version of the protocol went back to the Challenger of Record Athena Racing 10 days ago, prior to the announcement of Naples. The defender has not had any feedback from the Challenger of Record on the latest version," before going on to say, "The defender now feels, due to the unreasonable allegations that have been levelled at it by Athena Racing and American Magic, that it is appropriate to publicly release the latest draft version of the 38th America's Cup protocol today, as an illustration of complete transparency." If you like America's Cup paperwork, it makes interesting reading. I'll come back to this and what the changes are in a minute. But I think there could be something stirring. This kind of spat can sometimes whip up into a bigger disagreement. You can do anything in the Cup if you have mutual consent. But if you don't and things break down, you end up reverting to the basic rules as set out in the deed of gift. It's called a dog match, and it's not always pretty. In fact, never. And if it did end up here, how would the Kiwis fare? I've no idea, but I've watched two and both were desperately one-sided affairs, and they certainly weren't friendly. The last one was in 2010 between Alinghi and BMW Oracle Racing. Alinghi were the defenders, and they lost. But what if this apparent challenger collaboration was actually about persuading the defenders that they didn't hold all the cards this time? I don't know, I might be barking up the wrong tree, but it feels like we've been here before. So what does the draft protocol include? New is the formation of the America's Cup Partnership, ACP as it's referred to, and already it seems to be strained. The 38th America's Cup cycle will start in 2026 with up to 3 initial preliminary regattas. These will be in AC40s. Then there may be a 4th event in early 2027 in AC75s. The Challenger Selection Series and the Cup match will be in 2027. This is much like last time, except that for the Selection Series will be fleet racing and maybe some match racing. From the semi-finals onwards, it will be just match racing. Once again, the defender will be eligible to take part up until the beginning of the semi-finals. When it comes to the boats themselves, the big ones will be that there'll be just 6 crew down from 8. Plus, they'll be electrically powered rather than cyclors. Within the 6 crew, 1 must be female and another must be under 25. And the guest racer slot is back. Oh yes! Deeper in the detail, the upper wind limit has gone up from 21 to 23 knots. There's a spending cap of 60 million euros for each team. The requirement to build the boat in the Challenger's country remains, despite an earlier attempt to open this up. There's also relaxation of the rules around foiling chase boats, which should make things better. When it comes to nationality, teams can have 2 non-nationals, so long as they didn't compete for another team in the previous Cup. That would seem to rule out Peter Burling from popping up on a different boat. For the Youth and Women's America's Cups, all the crew have to be nationals of the team competing. And that's about it on the bigger changes. But of course, good though it is, none of this goes anywhere without agreement. And at the moment, that's looking less certain.